Hola.
Hi, Berklee.
Hey guys.
The meeting today. Let's having lunch meeting. Open Zoom. He's so excited. Ah,
Oh my god, I'm blurred.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi Hannah.
Love seeing you guys all in
awesome.
the same room.
I love the twos. Two twos. Wait, there's a third one. Tokyo says hi.
Oh my goodness. Look how
Why is the blur?
I
You're
can
so blurred. Censored.
I want to get seen because of the blur. Unblur.
Hold on, let me unblur. But excuse the wall, this house is under renovation. How do you unblur? Unblur.
Here we are.
Hi, Doctor. Hello.
Oh, cutie.
Well, lick my foundation off, girl. It's expensive. Yeah, so she's gonna be responsible for the 808s. And we're gonna do the rest. Right? Right?
And I see Valerie is here with us. We're just gonna wait just a few more minutes for the room to fill up.
Hello. So
Hi.
happy to be here. Hi.
All right, are we ready? Everyone feeling good? Amazing. Valerie, can you hear us? Oh, here she is. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. Thanks to everyone who hopped in the Zoom link early. It's so great to see you guys all together in the same room, working with the gear. Today we have Building a Beat, which is going to be led by Miss Valerie Orth, who is an incredibly talented artist, songwriter, producer, and professor at the Berklee College of Music. We are so lucky to have her. She is a wonderful human educator. She's worked with a number of programs such as Palestine Beats, Beats by Girls, and Song Camp. And today she will be our source of wisdom on all things building a beat. So Valerie, with that, please take it away. Feel free to introduce yourself. And it seems like everybody is set up in their rooms. So good to see.
Awesome. I'm so excited to be here. I can't even tell you. So yeah, I'm Valerie Orth. And as Hannah said, I teach at Berklee. I teach logic and specifically for songwriters, advanced and intro. And then I've led a number of different groups specifically for female artists and producers. So this is right up my alley, working with all of you. I studied women's studies in college, and I've been an independent artist for the past 15 years. So, and Hannah mentioned that I do other work in the Middle East too. I started a program called Palestine Beats. And so we're gearing up for next year for that too. So I have what we're going to be focusing on today. Let me get my notes out. So you guys have already been in this program for how long? A couple of weeks? I can't remember. I'm kind of new to the organization, but has it been a few? When did this session start?
Yeah, it's been about a month and a few weeks. We just wrapped up music business, and then they just started production this past weekend with Intro to Logic and recording and processing vocals.
So this class, these next 3 hours, we're going to cover the basics of manipulating MIDI. So I know you all talked about MIDI before. And if you have any questions, like while I'm talking, we're going to be doing activities throughout the next couple of hours too. But if you have questions when I'm presenting or just explaining things, feel free to just, I can't see everybody. So I guess just unmute yourself and just ask whenever. But I know you guys talked about MIDI already. We're going to talk about manipulating MIDI, which is just changing the sound. If you have sound choices, you have your software instruments that are all in the library. We'll talk about finding instruments and sounds outside of the library in Logic, outside of Logic, and how to make that sound exactly how you want it to sound. So it's just manipulating MIDI. Does anyone remember what MIDI stands for? Anyone want to shout out what MIDI stands for? This is like I always put this on the quiz for all of my college students. I literally teach, or like DAW. What is DAW? Does anyone remember what MIDI stands for? Or you can put it in the chat. I can't see the chat. Maybe you don't remember. It's from yesterday, right? You had your session yesterday. Yes. It's kind of like,
can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Oh, yes, I can.
Okay, it's musical instrument digital interface.
Yes, exactly. So MIDI is data. It doesn't make sound on its own. I'm sure they explained this before. You have to load a software instrument and then have a MIDI controller or use the musical typing in Logic to create sound. So you'll be able to manipulate that. And then we're going to talk about how you're going to build a beat in different genres, different styles, and then just make up a beat on your own. If we have time, I would love to introduce to you just finding sounds, literally just making sounds and audio yourself and then manipulating that. So I hope we have some time for that. It wasn't on the curriculum, but Hannah, I was hoping I could add that into it. All right, cool. That's what I have the most fun doing. So when you're working with MIDI, like I said, sometimes you don't necessarily like the sound, the software instrument that's already there. So it might be too plucky. You just want to adjust something about the performance of it. So there's this useful tool called ADSR envelope. ADSR stands for attack, delay, sustain, and release. So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, here's the chat. Yes, Hala, that is DAW is digital audio workstation. Thank you. And Logic is an example of that. So let me share my screen. And I'll share my desktop. I'll share sound. And just to let you guys know, it is Thanksgiving break over here, and I'm at my parents' house. So if you hear babies or yelling or anything like that, that's not my normal studio. I tried to set up a mini studio here so I could present. Can everyone see my screen? Yeah. Okay, great. So I just want to have this written down because I know that sometimes it's a little tricky to like catch. And even if English is your first language, I find it really tricky to kind of catch some of the acronyms and things like that. But this is to understand when you are manipulating MIDI, when you're changing the sound of your software instrument. It's called ADSR envelope. A is attack, D is decay, S is for sustain, and R is for release. So attack is how long a sound takes from a key being pressed to its full. Let's see if I can get my keyboard in here. So obviously, like if you're pressing a sound, now it's not connected to anything, so you're not gonna be able to hear. So attack is like from when you press the key to it reaching its full volume. It's generally instantaneous on a synth, but if you change, and it's the first factor of the sound, but of course, if you change it so it's a slower attack, you'll hear it. Actually, you know what? Let me do this at the same time. It'll be easier. So everyone can see my Logic. Sorry, I'm going to grab a sound like something that's, let me start with, let me do like a pad. Okay. So if I click on, so I just loaded my software instrument in from the library. And then don't let this scare you, this alchemy instrument. It's like a lot of different things. But what's cool about it is that you can find, it's just like a browser, you can find anything. So over here, oops. And why did it go away? Okay, sorry. Over here, you can see very small, probably the screen, attack, decay, sustain, release. Not every single software instrument is going to have this option, but I'll give you guys a chance to load instruments and kind of play around and check the sound, but I'll show you what the difference is. So if I have attack here. Oh, you punched in. Let me make sure. Just checking audio. Output is going to be Zoom. All right. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear any sound coming from the TV? Yeah? Okay. Great. So I'm looking down at this attack, and if I change it, it's immediate if there's no attack time, right? And then it takes longer to get the max volume of the sound. Oh, and Hannah, if you don't mind, I'm kind of looking at a bunch of different screens right now. So if there are questions in the chat, if somebody could let me know, that would be great.
Yeah, and would you remind us how you got to this screen where you're looking at attack, decay, sustain, release? Just
sure.
To bring it up on their side.
Yeah, you guys have pretty much opened Logic yesterday, right? For the first time, many of you.
So they're new to Logic, but they have it all with them. So yeah, if we could just remind everyone how to get there, that'd be awesome.
Totally. Okay, great. Thank you. So make sure you have Logic open while I'm demonstrating and just kind of play along. Promise you won't miss anything. I'll just keep repeating myself. So if you load a software instrument, and I think you did this the other day, or yesterday, but you can, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can just press the plus here, add tracks, and it says software instrument. And one thing I highly suggest is changing what you might have is what's called a default patch under this instrument. So if you don't see that, if you just see it like this, you'll see you just a little drop down menu. So is everybody with me? I have the chat open now here too. So because I can't see all your faces. So if you're not with me, just mention it in the chat. So make sure you have a software instrument, change instrument to empty channel strip, empty channel strip. That's really important because otherwise it's going to automatically choose the instrument for you and it'll just be like a piano or something. And if you want that, if you always use that same instrument, you can have it set up so it's like that. But what's going to be easiest for you is just to change this instrument to empty channel strip. That way, when you hit create, you'll see instrument 2 or instrument 1 or whatever, channel strip name. Is everybody with me? So everyone create an instrument track. So just go to plus, make sure it says empty channel strip, and hit create. Okay. Then if this library isn't open, you can just, I realize I'm using my template. You can hit Y, or there will be a library. It looks like a drawer of things, and you can just click that. It's not, sorry that it's not on mine. Or you could just hit the letter Y on your keyboard. Y is a great, you guys talked about key commands, and Y is a great key command to know. I like to keep it closed often after I choose the sound because it gives me more space. Like I just always want more space. I'm looking over at my other monitor. It's just a lot more space. So anyway, if your library is not open, click Y or click on next to I. There'll be a little kind of drawer looking thing that opens the library. And then for your instrument track, I'm just going to delete those other things. For your instrument track, you can choose anything here. So what I just chose, I mean, it could be, let's see if we choose, let's see something else. Grand organ. Okay. So I just chose, then it's already something there. So in order to see the software instrument, you have to go into the inspector, which is these two channels right here. Grand organ, stereo out. So you have to go into the grand organ channel strip and click on where it says vintage B3 or whatever instrument it is. I'm going to click on it and see what shows up. Cool. But this doesn't have the ADSR option. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to go back to, I mean, that's a cool sound. And you can, so basically manipulating MIDI is just, you're just like messing with these sounds, with these knobs. And you could do this all day and it's super fun, just changing the sound. You don't even really, honestly, you don't have to know what all these things stand for. Just like play it. Okay, you know what? I want to add, I just clicked on effects. So I want to add some more distortion. So drive. Ooh, a wah. Like I literally just have fun with things. I don't really hear the difference. Oh, because it's not on.
And Dahlia, I see you have.
So I'm going to show you.
Yes, please.
Oh yeah.
Hello. Can you repeat this step again, the last one?
Sure. So to add a software instrument, you're going to just click up here, this plus, where it says add tracks. You're going to change this where it says instrument under details. If it says anything else, It usually, the default, it says default patch, just change it to empty channel strip. You can even have, you can click this, it says open library, have that selected. Your audio is going to be out 1 and 2. That means it's coming out whatever speakers, your MacBook or whatever speakers you have. And then you're going to hit create. And so you should get something that says instrument 1 or 2, or it depends. Does that make sense, Dahlia? We're so far?
Yes, that's fine.
Great. Then I'm going to go back to the synthesizer that I chose. So because it has the ADSR that I was starting to explain.
Sorry?
I'm in my library now. If you can see on the left side of my screen, I'm in the library and I'm just choosing, I'm going back to the pad that I know has this ADSR that we were talking about. Has that, because what the main kind of purpose of this whole beginning thing is how you can change the sound of the instrument. Now, granted, you have, you know, thousands of sounds in the library already, but sometimes it's just more fun to create your own sound, like just like we're going to create our own beat later today. So I can't remember the name of that I was doing. Was it analog? Oh, aquatic voices. I like that one. So I select aquatic voices. So that was just from choosing a pad. It's kind of random for me right now. Okay. So that's a nice sound, but maybe I want to change some of it. So I'm going to go to the inspector here, left-hand side, aquatic voices. And alchemy, it's going to say in this instrument slot, like, okay, so if you have another instrument here, if you have an empty, like nothing in there, it'll just say instrument. And that won't make any sound. You have to have something, an instrument loaded in order for it to make sound. So I'm going to go back to this where I actually loaded it. And I'm going to click on that same slot and it's going to be filled. It'll say whatever instrument you chose. So this one is Alchemy. Alchemy is software instruments, multiple instruments in like a synthesizer that's built into Logic. So everyone should have access to that if you have the updated version of Logic. Over here is ADSR. So what I was just trying to explain is that if you have attack is the first thing you hear, first sound that you hear. So it's attack is just how fast once you how fast it happens volume. So if I put it all the way over to 100%, it takes a very long time. I don't know if it's ever going to get there. If you want a swell sound, you might slow the attack. If you want a fast attack or fast sound, that's away. I'm going to keep going because I want you guys to, it's going to make a lot more sense when you're actually playing around with it. So attack is how long a sound takes from a key being pressed to reach its full volume. Decay is the length of time the sound takes to reach the sustained level of sound after the peak of the attack. See if we can hear, and they're all kind of subtle things, but they're just different. This is just great ways you can change it. So here's the decay. See that? See what it says. Rita, I could see you have a question. Or
yes, hi, I'm Rita. Okay, so I have a question. Hi.
Hi.
If I don't have a MIDI, so I can click on Command K and it give me the same results, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then what you can do is you can either use the mouse or you can actually hit the letters on your computer keyboard. Yeah. I actually was going to do that for this demonstration because it's not my home studio. So I'm like, oh, my stuff is everywhere.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, that's a great, you can do the same thing. It even tells you, like, this has a sustain. So sustain's actually the next one. Volume of sound between the decay and release. So if you just use the sustain, like exactly what it sounds like. And then release, how long the sound takes to end after releasing the key. And like I said, these are technical terms, aren't super important to like memorize. I think it's just helpful to know when you're looking at a bunch of different knobs to like understand what some of them are. So tomorrow you're going to be talking about delay and reverb and production, things like that. And that all of that stuff, you're going to start to recognize when in these just terms, when you're opening an instrument and looking at it. So I think what would be really cool to do is just have you all take some time. Let me look at the notes again and see how much time we have to do this. So it looks like 20 minutes. So I would say maybe 15 minutes, and then we can come back and talk about it, and you can share different sounds you make. So what I would like you all to do for 15 minutes is open Logic, which I think most of you have already done. Let me show you one more kind of instrument that it might not have all of the ADSR sounds, but just different knobs that you can turn and change the sound of it. So if we look at strings, so one suggestion would be to try something like a violin or a cello. That might be the kind of easiest thing to start with. There's less kind of knobs to mess around with. Let's see. Let's look at the studio cello. So I went back into the library. I did plus, I'm going to do it one more time, plus software instrument, empty channel strip, open library is clicked to select it, and then create. That puts me with another instrument. The library opens. If not, just click Y. Oops. Oh, you can't click Y if you have the musical typing open. I'm going to studio strings on the left-hand side in the library. I'm selecting studio cellos. And then here you see in the inspector. So again, the inspector has your instrument channel strip. It's the same as in, I don't know if you guys have checked out the mixer. You know, it's the same thing here. I don't want to overwhelm you, but it's the same exact thing. And Logic makes it really easy to have these channel strips, which is where the instruments are right next to the main window here. So I'm going to click on strings. Remember, you want to click in order to open and see the inside of like what is creating those instruments, you click on right where it says strings, where it says name of instrument. So here it has cutoff, resonance, volume, attack, and release. So you recognize attack and release. Oh, Amir, should we record or just create a sound? Yeah, record. Great question. Definitely record something. Just even if you don't like, I don't play piano, I'm a guitar player, but yeah, definitely record something. So I just want you to pick, I would start with cello or strings or something that just doesn't have that many knobs. You can create sounds. This is actually a good example. So put it on, you can see my hand on attack 0%, and then if I go, well, so I'm hitting it just as hard, right? And the release is, when you let go, how long it's going to stay. There was another question, a follow-up question. How do we record the settings change? You can automate it if you want to change the attack and the release while you're recording, or like as the song is going on, as time is passing, essentially. But we're not getting to automation today. So what I would suggest is create the sound that you want, just exactly the cello sound that you want, or just play around with these different parameters until you find something that you like, and then record something. Yeah, yes, exactly. Create the sound and record it, exactly. So I just want you to take 15 minutes. So quarter of, I can't remember how many hours difference we are, but about 15 minutes, and just load a software instrument, choose one of, I would suggest strings, cello, violin, something that's just a little bit simple, like less overwhelming than your eyes, like looking at the alchemy is kind of intense. But you can try other things. I mean, I don't know all of the sounds, but basically you're just going in, yeah, and you're opening a sampler is a little confusing. What I do when I see something like this, and I'm like, oh my God, what is all this stuff? I just look for, what do I understand? Resonance, drive, I understand that. And then I just kind of play around with it. Or I just play and have fun with it. But again, I would suggest just doing strings for now. I don't have access to all the sounds on Logic. So one thing that you need to make sure you do is that if you have Logic, you have to go to File. If you have Logic, you're going to have access to the Logic sounds. That's what the kind of what you paid for. So if you go to Logic Pro in the upper left-hand corner and you go to Sound Library, if this says, if download essential sounds or download all available sounds is not grayed out like it is in mine, you need to download them. And it takes a little bit of time. So it might take, you might not be able to participate in this part, but I would definitely do it now. Yeah. So for those who do not have access, as a couple people put that in the chat, to all the sounds, please let me know if you can download it. Just go to Logic Pro, Sound Library, download all available sounds. Martina, do you have a question?
Since the library is huge, is it possible to download the library on an external hard disk?
It is. It's, yeah. So, oh, sorry. I was also looking at the chat. Like, so it is I have found that when people do that, they like here, you relocate Sound Library. You have to, it might be harder. You have to make sure your drive is plugged in every single time. But yeah, I totally get why you wouldn't want to put all that on your computer. It's just like one extra step if you don't download it. What you could do is just download essential sounds for now. Make sure you have, everybody should have some sounds right now, like today. So can you, Martina, can you just download? Do you mind?
Yeah.
I mean, can you download enough room on your computer? Yeah, sure. And then Layal, you do have to connect to a power source and you have to have strong Wi-Fi, which makes it a little bit challenging when you're on Zoom sometimes. There was another question that popped up, maybe, and then
you guys have some sounds Valerie, they're using the trial version of Logic for the next 90 days on all of their MacBooks. It should know that there are some sounds already there. So just for the purposes of the activity, and I've taken notes too, we can probably use the sounds that are already in there. So you guys don't have to waste too much time downloading. But I think you all should have what you need for the activity.
Great. So I'll be here for the next 15 minutes, but if you guys can just try, if you all can just try creating just messing with the parameters of the sounds. And this is basically to empower you to, like, if you only have a couple sounds, to change it into sounds that you actually want. And then we can talk about other places that you can get sounds for free and things like that. But let's just, let's have everybody work for the next 10 or 15 minutes. Sound good? And I'll be here for questions. I'll stay muted. Amira, you can, I'm going to share my screen again, actually. I'm going to show you how to get the source, or how you're showing. Let me just see. So any instrument that you have loaded, the instrument's going to show up in the inspector, which is also the mixer. And you'll see it says alchemy. And then you just click on that and it opens the window. Again, I do think it's easier to kind of just use a strings example where you have less things to mess with. And let's see. You know what, Amira, and anyone else that might be having this trouble, the best thing to do would be to close your Logic and open it again. That generally solves most of my problems. Just off and on button.
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah. Demo? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know how I can change the pitch of the pitch of the sound without losing quality. If it's a sample, or is it possible actually to change a sample key?
Well, if it's so this is an instrument, so you would be anything. I'm on a different thing. You're actually playing the pitch, right? So you're changing the pitch. Does that make sense? That when you're working with pitch, that's if you were to record something that didn't have a pitch and you wanted to change. No, even that would not be, you wouldn't do it at this step. Does that make sense? So and one other thing you can try that I was just kind of messing around with is go to the instruments. There's always a drop down menu at the top, and there's presets of different instruments. So if you're like, oh, I'm writing a disco song, here's my disco strings, and it sets up, I don't know about disco strings, but apparently that's a thing. So you can just change it there. But I know that doesn't really answer your question, but I wouldn't work on pitch right now because you're just changing the tone itself of the instrument. Molly.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Demo. Was that helpful?
Yes, I just my question was basically about the samples. If I have like already sample, can I change the pitch of it?
Yes, you can. You have to go into the sample. I don't have one up here. Yeah, you know what we'll do? We'll talk about that later when I'll remind me if I don't talk about it at the end when we're talking about designing a drum machine, because that's where, and actually it's so funny when I read this, when I first looked at this curriculum, I was like, oh, finding sounds. And in my head, it was found sounds, which is different. So when you have found sounds, meaning like you're recording something or you're getting a sample, then you want to start changing the pitch and things like that. So we'll do that. And Rita was going to ask the same question. So we'll definitely get to that then. Fun.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Molly.
Okay, so I have a quick question. So once we record, like, will you be able to tell like the dials that we've changed, or you want us to do like, for example, how the original pitch and then another audio of the altered instrument?
That's a great way to do it. I would do that. I would play exactly the same thing and for two different things, and we can compare. That's great. Oh, Molly? Do you have another question?
No, sorry, I forgot to lower my hand. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Okay. Martina's asking if we upload on the drive. So
Yeah.
Hannah, I think that's a question for you.
It is. Yeah. I'll send the folder to your WhatsApp, and I'll also send it in the chat in just a second.
Hala, if I understand your question, what are the stock plugins? That's anything that's in. Oh, okay. Got it. Those are presets. That's the difference between a plugin. These are all plugins. The instruments are plugins. And then anything in these drop-down menus are presets.
So I can only, like, whenever I put a sound in Ableton, it only the only thing that works is Command K and then play it, but I can't open like the plugin itself? Like, do I need to press on top left?
You need to click on the instrument itself in the inspector. This is the inspector.
Okay. Very
Okay,
helpful.
there.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. No, it's totally confusing at first, so I get it. I think just a few more minutes. Is that enough time for folks? And we can kind of move on. So yeah, if you guys can wrap up what you're working on. So you're just testing out, like Leah, that's a good question. You are just kind of testing out the ADSR, just kind of playing. The kind of purpose of this exercise is to show you that you can manipulate the software instrument, the MIDI instrument, to create a sound closer to what you want or exactly what you want. So you can, Hannah created a folder, and I think, I don't know if you're supposed to record, like bounce what you worked on and put it in there, or is that what you guys usually do?
Yeah. We typically, whenever we do the activities, we have them save them to the Google Drive. So everybody has the Google Drive. It's in the Zoom chat. It's also in the WhatsApp. And we just ask that you, whenever you export it to the folder, label it with your name so we know whose it is.
Great. How can I trim quickly? Okay. So I'm going to just demonstrate bouncing something that you might have recorded. Or actually, I think you guys did that yesterday. So what I do, that I think the easiest thing to do is if you zoom all the way out in your Logic, which is literally just like taking your fingers on your mouse, you can do that. Like you would zoom in and out of a document, or you can go up to the upper right-hand corner, and that's zooming in and zooming out, or you can go this, zooming in and zooming out vertically. So I'm going to zoom all the way out, and then there is this end marker here that I find useful, if I can get it, to just change to the length of the song, or like a normal length of a song. And that way, when I zoom out, it only zooms out to that end marker. When you're bouncing a track, you're doing Command B. And you just want to do an MP3. So you click on MP3 and then start. It's starting at bar 1, beat 1. And it's saying here it's ending at bar 57 because that's where my end marker is. So I can change this. If I just made a 3-bar beat, then I would just want to end that at 4. So that's 1 bar. It starts at bar 1, ends at bar 4. And everything else looks good. And I hit play. So if you are bouncing a song for the folder, then I would just bounce those first couple of bars that you did. or whatever the length of the song that you wrote, the track that you wrote. How's everybody doing?
I'm also sending real-time notes, everyone, to your WhatsApp. So if you get lost, feel free to check the WhatsApp group as well. And I'm kind of writing out what Valerie's doing.
This is great. It looks like there's already 3 people that have submitted something in the folder. So I'll give it a couple more minutes, and then would love to just get some questions about how, or just share with how that experience was for you manipulating the ADSR or manipulating. All right. So if you haven't uploaded yet, that's totally fine. I do want to go into the beat making, and you can, when we're making beats and stuff, you can also keep playing with the, yeah. So for folks, for all of you, actually, what was the experience like, kind of changing the sound? Were you able to change the sound? Could you hear the difference? What was the experience? Gina.
Hi.
Hi.
I found my experience very interesting because a while back I was trying to record this song and I was trying to include like strings, and I was so confused on how to get it to sound like actual strings, like it's not robotic. And this is what I was missing. Like I feel like the attack and the decay and everything made it sound much more realistic than it was, like how it was set in the program.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, especially Logic in particular, you really have to, with their string sounds, you have to manipulate them. The default setting is like not.
Yeah, it's so bad. Like I was like, this is not realistic at all.
I know. I know. Yeah. Is it Remen Kimi? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, yes, you are.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks. So I was gonna say it's really cool because you have one instrument, but really you have multiple in one, it feels, especially if you start playing with the settings a little bit more, and you can now start harmonizing in a very cohesive way with multiple layers of that same instrument. And that was awesome. So thank you.
Yeah, so cool. And we got some folks in the chat. Totally flip the sound. Awesome. Great. Similar to Arca. I love Arca. I only know of Arca because of Bjork. And I'm like, Bjork is my hero.
Yes, both of them.
Arca is like
I really, really hope to see them live, and they inspire me so much. I hope I make a similar sound, but also my own sound. So that's the plan.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. I think it's really awesome. Arca is life. Yes, Nada. Like, it's really great to have influences and also just reference tracks, like listening to something like, how can I make it sound like that? I've always found
Yeah.
that I can't make it ever sound exactly the way I want. So the way they sound, so it ends up being mine anyway. Yasmin.
Yes, I just wanted to say that it was very interesting comparing the same sample with different parameters. I really like the slow attack, slow release. Like it completely changes the mood when you change the parameters, and it allows you to create your own customized sound. So I really liked it. Yeah.
That's great. That's excellent. Any other thoughts or comments on the experience of kind of changing the sounds, manipulating the sounds? Martina?
Sorry, I'm in a chatty mood today.
It's okay.
No, it's not related to ADSR, but I feel like it's pushing us to make decisions quickly. So that's a good exercise because we always doubt ourselves and take so much time.
I agree. Yeah. I was listening to this podcast by Hidden Brain. The podcast episode was called Escaping Perfectionism. And I was like, oh my God, they did a whole podcast for me. Because perfectionism is the enemy of productivity. It really is, like getting your song done. So let's keep going. If there's no other comments. And was that somebody had a comment?
Nada?
Oh, Nada.
No, it's me.
All right.
No, I just wanted to like expand on what you guys were saying about perfectionism, and I have not started to produce anything or work on my music until I started this program, because I was very scared to do it, and I was scared to release. And like I always thought that I knew my sound and I knew how I wanted my songs to sound. But then the last couple of days I had the gear and I was practicing, and the things that I came up with, I did not think that I could do this color at all. Like I made a loop with my own voice, and
That's so cool.
I don't know how, like things like things like that wouldn't have come to me in my old traditional ways of writing music. I was just writing a song with the guitar or the piano, and I'm thinking about what is humanly possible with a band. But when I started working with like a DAW, when literally anything is possible, I came up with so much more that I didn't even think I was capable of.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So great. That's so great. Love that.
Yay.
This is such a cool program. I'm so excited to be part of it. So I'm going to skip a little bit of the next. We had an activity to find some other libraries. I mean, it sounds like you guys can really work with what you already have. I am going to share a couple, meaning library of sounds that are outside of Logic. A lot of them you have to pay for. Splice is generally the best one. What I would suggest is Splice is like, it's 12. I don't know how they works in other countries. That's the only problem. So I'm not good with with helping out with that. But what I can do is give you a couple websites just to check out when you might not be right now. But let me just okay. So there's one called Spitfire, where I mean, I don't know, Hannah, this was listed. Oh, sorry, you're walking away. And I'm like asking, this was listed. This is not one that I specifically use, but it is an easy way to get, as you can see, for all. So what I can do is send, I'll put this in the. Oh,
all
is
good.
it NG? Got it?
Yep.
You have to pay by credit for Splice.
Yeah, I just want to say,
Okay.
it's not a question. I just wanted to say that Spitfire is a really good plugin. I always use it because like other things are so expensive. So Spitfire is
Yeah.
good for a free plugin actually. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So there's the testimony. Thank you for that. Splice is life. Yes, a lot of people do agree. I remember back in the day when there were free libraries and then Splice bought all of them and now I have to pay to use them. I'm very annoyed with that, but that it's the way. And you can, like at Berklee, we were able to have, just like you guys were probably able to get Logic for free, like we were able to get free Splice for like 6 months for our students, which is, you know, I think here it was 12. There's a student rate, maybe that's $8 a month. And then you get 100 credits per month and then you pay per download. Oh, we don't need to go all into that. I definitely want you guys to check it out though. So I'm going to send this link I created this for my students, but I think it'd be super useful for you all. So Splice, Veteran Producers, this is plugins from 2022. Like I said, it's Thanksgiving here, which also means Black Friday is on Friday. And it's like everybody gets excited for getting discounts for Christmas. Now is the time to shop if you can invest in third-party plugins for sound effects. This isn't going to be useful, Berklee sound effects, because you have to, but they're not that good anyway. But just different things to check out and see that maybe you want to either pay for or there's some free stuff. Bedroom Producers is a great blog for finding free stuff as well. This is a little old. I'll just tell you what's on the other pages of this. These are different podcasts that I listen to. I'm really into podcasts. But so, because there's only so much that you know I can share with you in an hour or 3 hours. So here's some great, I mean, there's a million of them, but here's some great places to start. And I'll update this as I have time. So production resources, third-party tools. Like I said, I'm just going along the bottom here. This is a little bit off topic, but you know, if you're a songwriter, these are some great, I mean, this book, where is it? Oh, it's not even on here. Well, the book that gets me writing is Writing Better Lyrics. It's not even on here. I mean, any of the Berklee, the stuff from Berklee is great, but here's some third-party stuff, other things. So I'll just share this link with everyone. Let me make sure. Great. So I'm going to put it in the chat, and then Hannah, if you want to add it to the WhatsApp group or anywhere that they have easy access to. Okay, so I'm going to keep going and talk about drums. You're welcome, Rhonda. Okay. So can I get a sense of like how many folks in this room are already creating drum beats and things like that? Like have already creating your own drums? Got a couple hands up. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second so I can see the room. So okay. So there's a few folks. And for folks that are already doing drums, how are you programming or recording, or what are you using for drums? You can just unmute yourself.
Is the question like how I'm creating or have been creating before the session?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
How
So
have you? Yeah. What are you using?
yeah, I use like the most like complicated way, but like basically if I want to create a drum beat, I like find a similar one, and then like I practice by like opening YouTube tutorials, and then I open and like a diagram that showed me like the name of each part, and I try to like make out or like figure out how the person is like playing which drum parts. And then I like after learning the names, I tried creating it myself. It's like a long process, but then like I managed to like learn about drums, and then I could figure out some stuff, but like I couldn't figure out another way at the time.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
great way to learn. If I can't hear something in a track, and I'm a big Glass Animals fan, and especially like a few years ago, I was trying to like, who's programming these drums? How are they doing this? And I literally just dragged, I was working in Ableton, and I just dragged the MP3 into my DAW, and then I and then I looked at the transients, which is like the biggest peaks in volume or the peaks in sound, to find out where the drums were hitting. And then I just focused. I was like, that's such a cool drum beat. And then I wrote a song over it. I don't know. It was like a fun, it takes a long time. It was a fun, I think, I think that's great.
It's always fun, like working out things like in different ways.
Yeah. All right. So what are you using for you, Rhonda, or for others? What like, so how do you get it in your DAW? Like, are you using sequencers? Are you?
Oh, I was using a MIDI, like an Akai MPK Mini and FL Studio. So I was just like using the pad controls.
And you were recording it in.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. What about other folks? Sandra, how do you program your drums, or how do you come up with drum beats?
Okay, so I just had the gear for like 4 days, thanks to Navak, and I tried to come up with it by listening to music. I tried listening to music differently. So I closed my eyes, and then I actually tried to listen to the instruments and the beat and the rhythm, and it comes out. I keep listening to it over and over, and then I keep finding myself adding to it. Maybe I add some synth, I add a different kind of beat in the background, and then it just comes out as something. Does that make sense?
Totally. I love it. It's awesome. What about others? Yasmin, I'm just looking kind of the others, like,
so I actually do the same as the other do, but I found it a little bit challenging, because I feel to do a proper drum beat, you really need to understand the different pieces of a drum.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
yeah, and I always feel that I need to learn how to play the drums in order to do a proper drum beat that feels, natural, not just like very static. So I personally find it the most challenging part of producing any track, really.
So I'm really glad that you brought that up, and I'm going a little bit off course here, Hannah. I hope that's okay. But I do think, because somebody else wrote the kind of curriculum for today. Okay, I want to make sure that you all are getting what you need. Like, we're starting in the right place. So I just want to share, and I'm actually used to teaching beat making. Even I was doing that long before I was teaching Logic, and I was working in Ableton mostly too. So I'm just going to share with you a website that I found that you can play around with too on, let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah. So can you see this drum set here? Yeah, you should be able to see this drum set. So you can play around with this too. I think it's really helpful, like Yasmin was saying, to understand what drums you're playing. Like, even if you're into the digital world, like just understanding these the drum machine came from actual drum sounds. That's what we're going for. So just to kind of review, and I'm sorry if this is slow for other folks, but I found this really helpful to have a visual in your mind, what the drum is that you're playing, and where it goes in a grid, or on a sequence, or in a bar of music. The great thing about working in a DAW is that you don't have to be a drummer. You really don't even, I don't really have to know music theory. You don't really have to play an instrument like I do. Like, I have this long keyboard and I don't play piano, and I'm totally okay with that. And so that's really empowering for me. It's been really empowering. I play guitar, I record myself on guitar, but I have so much fun making beats, and I don't play the drums. So this is the kick drum. The kick is always on, not always. We're going to talk about basic. Oh, here, there's a whole thing. Here we go. All right, great. This was given. Okay. So the kick is generally, if you don't know what to do, put the kick on the 1 and the 3. So if you're in a just 4 kind of pop music, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Kick is going to be on the 1 and the 3. Snare, this is a snare, but it usually goes on the 2 and the 4. So it'll be kick, snare, 1, 2, 3, 4. But know that there's different ways to hit the drum. So it's like you got the snare, just the head, and then you can. There's the rim, which is just hitting the side of the rim. There's the rim shot. So when you're selecting your drum sounds, you can select a rim shot, a snare head. It'll say you can have the snare on and off. I can't remember. I can't do it in this. So I'll keep going. There's the toms. So toms are actually pitched. Actually, all the drums are pitched. And so when we were talking about pitching earlier, pitching an instrument, you want to make sure that your drums, when you're doing a professional mix, that your drums are actually in tune. You think, oh, it's drum, it's just a beat, but it really should be in tune with the other instruments in the key of the song that you're playing, you're recording. Right, so the toms are more obviously pitched. So you have actually smaller instruments, and then the bigger, I'm sorry, heads, smaller heads, and then the bigger the head is on the tom, the lower the pitch is. So in the DAW, you might see low tom, mid tom, high tom, something like that. Cymbals. Each cymbal has its own purpose. So you have cymbals that are going to ring out more. You have rides, like you'll hear in jazz, that's usually on a ride. Crash. I don't even know which all these cymbals are. But know that they're different sizes. They might be at different angles. The drummer, you could hit the stick at a different part of the drum and it's going to sound differently. And so you can manipulate that, again, ADSR, things like that, with the sound of the drum. One other thing I want to just show you real quick is that the hi-hat, you can have an open hi-hat that rings out longer, and then you can have a closed hi-hat. You get it. And that's when the drummer puts they're holding the pedal down, but I have to do it. Anyway, so I found this really useful just in looking at the drum set, hitting the drum, sing, and you can, I'll put this in the chat. Here, oh, there's a couple of questions. Tuning the drums, we are going to get to that. Snare on the 2, yeah. I mean, snare on the 2 and the 4 is almost it's called a backbeat. If it's kick on the 1 and the 3 and the snare on the 2 and the 4, it's almost every song there is. Not every song there is. I don't know why I said that. It's a basic backbeat. Here we go. Okay. So if we're looking at this I'm also going to share. This was shared with me, so hopefully, Hannah, this is cool. Oh, are there certain hands up? Do you, Rita and Demo, do you have questions? Before, okay. You guys are you're already making beats. You're saying that you're already making beats.
I have a question, actually.
Okay, yeah, Rita.
So I'm a drummer and I'm very familiar with beats. Like it's very easy to me. So I tried last session to play drums on the MIDI and it was quite awesome, but not as great. I wasn't satisfied as much as I play on my acoustic drums, you know?
Yeah.
Like I didn't get the sound that I'd love to hear.
Yeah.
So I thought, should I record it on my acoustic or should I play it on MIDI? What's gonna be better, you know?
If you are a drummer, I would record yourself playing drums. I think it's awesome. And what you can do, so you do have to learn. Yesterday, I think you all talked about different microphones and things like that. You need room and the microphones to get a good sound recording of your drums. So your kick drum is going to be one mic. Your snare is going to have another mic, and then usually there's overhead mics. You'll just open or something, and that catches vocals. Mixing drums is like whole nother level beyond me. But I have to say, I've had students do it and I'm just like, okay, they did. I mean, you just, once you learn mixing, which I think you talk about tomorrow, it's the same, you're applying the same concept of mixing drums as if you would mixing your vocal or mixing your other instruments together. It's really just about volume, placement, like if you're panning it to the left or the right. So I think if you can play the drums, I say record yourself playing drums, learn how to mix. And then what I do is also, like, if I have a drummer that I can record, I'll also enhance the drumming with the live drumming or acoustic drum with an electronic drum or a drum, you know, anything I can find in the DAW to kind of enhance it. So that blend of acoustic drums and the program drums, I think it's a really cool sound. It's up to you. It's a creative decision, but use what you got. If you can play drums, go for it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Dima, did you have a question?
Yes. How do I know the tempo inside Logic for a sample or something?
Yeah. So, okay. So you mean you're bringing a sample from like Splice or something like that?
Yeah, and I want to know what tempo it is.
Are you trying? So Splice, sorry, I'm going to reshare my screen so I can share Logic too.
I use Ableton, so I have like a metronome that gets exactly the tempo. I don't know where I can find that on Logic.
So in Splice or somewhere where you're going to be grabbing, you're going to be grabbing sounds, it should tell you the tempo, right? It should say like kick 90 BPM. But if you have a song that's in a different tempo, so I'm going to answer this question quickly, and then I'm going to go back to this because I do think it's great that you're already working. I have to say with Ableton, I find it a lot easier to manipulate tempos, pitches, all of that stuff. I think Logic is great for learning to produce. I think it's great for acoustic sounds. I think it's good for mixing. Ableton is kind of like the ultimate, like I find it like the best beat making program, but you could do so in Logic recently, if you guys have used Logic in the past, has added like new capabilities, like this sequencer that we're going to go through real quick. That is, they took it from Ableton, clearly. People clearly complained to them and they just took it right from Ableton. So let me just show you, Demo, just real quick. If you're pulling something in, and this is for everybody. So if I want to add an audio track, I'm going to go plus and do audio, input, blah, blah, blah. And there's key commands for all of this. I'm going to close my library. And then I am going to bring something. I just have an example in here. Something, oh, not Spice. The Splice is a library that you pay for again. See what I have. All right. Cool. Oh, but you're talking about a loop. Let's talk about a loop. So you guys hear that? Yeah. So this is telling me here, this is dragged from Splice 107. That's the BPM is 107 loop. So it tells me what it is. But my song is in 120. I'm going to make it lower, 118. So I'm going to drag this loop that's at 107. I am going to keep the track format. And I'm not going to import, just in case this doesn't happen. I don't want to import it because I want my song to be in 118 BPM. So then the trick is here. So if I play this, that should be playing at 107 because I haven't changed it. Let's check. So I turn on the click. Yeah, it's off, like it's a mess. So what I'm going to do is right click or control click. And then I'm going to apply project tempo to region and downbeat. So the clip or the loop that I just dragged in is a region. So I want to apply my project tempo, which is this, the Logic project, which is 118. I want to apply that tempo to my region. So I want to change the region to 107. I'm sorry, the region to 118, and I want the kicks to be on the downbeat. So I'm going to click on that. You can see, oops, I should have had it zoomed in a little bit. Let me do it one more time so you can see. So I'm going to right click, and you can see that it's not lined up on the grid. I'm going to right click, apply project tempo to region and downbeat. And you can see it changes the length, right? So it's moving the transients. So let's play it now with the click on. Right on beat. So that's the simplest way to do it. Amir, is it Amira or Amir? I have a friend named Amir, so I don't know.
Yes.
Or is it Amir?
Hi.
Hi. Is Amira?
Yeah, Amira. Yeah.
Amira. Okay, great. Great to meet you.
I was just asking if about beat making for electronic music, because I'm pretty much into electronic music. I'm originally a DJ, so I'm always working on creating the beat and the groove and actually creating the heavy bass with it, the heavy bass drums with it. So I'm not sure if it goes. I know I can get the samples from Splice, but not sure how to apply it on this part. So not sure if we're going to tackle it or not.
Yeah, I want to talk about that next. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Just make sure I answer your question when we get to that for sure. Tusa Nada.
Hi. I had a similar question about key signatures. Because I wanted to get a loop and put it in my song, but it was a different key and I couldn't like manipulate the key from the Apple loop into my track.
This is a great question. So I have had trouble doing this. I'm going to be perfectly honest in Logic. I mean, here's your key signature up here. Do you have, so if you guys don't have this whole window, you just have a shorter version. All you have to do is do this drop down here, display mode, and click custom, and it'll bring you more, you'll be able to see more. So can you see the case signature here? Time signature, sorry. Did you say time signature or key signature? Time. Time or key. Time, okay, yeah.
Which one were you asking about? No, I was asking about the
make sure that your
key.
Oh, key signature.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's something different. Sorry.
Asking that it's like a loop, but it's written in a different key.
Yeah. So you have to go into the loop and adjust the key. So that's something else. I do want to talk about drums, and there's not like I don't have a quick answer for that. So let me go back to drums so I can get to it, and then if we have time, is it okay if I answer your question a little later?
Of course.
I kind of want to stick on the drums right now. Yeah. Okay. Great. So let me go back to, let me make sure I'm at least hitting some of this stuff. I'm talking about found sounds. Okay. So understanding grids. So these are different grooves. I did send this. This was, like I said, this was shared with me through NVEX. So hopefully you can check, it's okay to share this. Oh, now my thing is frozen.
Your WhatsApps, and it's also in the Google Drive for everyone tuning in. So you'll have access to this beyond class.
I am frozen. Can you hear me still?
Yep.
Okay. Everything kind of froze. Shoot. Okay, let me come back. Okay. No. Overload.
Okay, yeah, Valerie's frozen on my side. She frozen for you guys too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no. We lost.
I thought something with my connection.
Okay, maybe she's rejoining. How are we feeling so far? Just temperature check. Were we able to work with the sounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yes.
And how many of you, I actually know we have some drummers and some percussionists in the cohort. Anyone else? I know Rita plays drums. Angie, maybe you've played drums a little bit. Martina. No worries if not. I am living for Nada's dog in the camera. I am
Sorry. Technology.
We hear you now. All good.
Sorry about that, everyone. What did I miss? Did I miss anything?
Just scanning the room, seeing how we're feeling, and then
good. I know it's a long session. I know. Let's get to beat making. Okay, so let me share my screen again. Into Logic. Share sound. Now my computer just decided to like restart. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to just check the audio, make sure you guys can hear. All right. So in all DAWs, if you want to keep something on beat, so we're going to just stick with 4/4 for today. Let me do these other tracks. This grid line here, so I'm just zooming in and out, which you can do kind of along with me, or you can with your own. So I'm just zooming in and out up in the upper right hand corner, or I'm just doing it with my fingers on my mouse pad. So like that. So if you notice up here, there's a ruler, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the bars. It's going to be all lined up to this tempo that I set, 118. I can just lower, even make the tempo even smaller. I'm going to just delete this to not confuse us. Delete this too. And so I've got 112 here. If I zoom in even more, the grid changes so I can see more of a note division. So now if I'm here and I see 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, that's bar 1, beat 1, bar 1, beat 2, bar 1, beat 3, bar 1, beat 4. So it's really important to understand that to know if you're on beat or not. Drums are so important for so many reasons, but the main thing is that when you're producing a song, you really want to start with your drums and build on top of that so you can have everything locked into the grid or locked into the drum beat and to be on time. So if I want to do that, I'm going to tell 1 second. I'm going to create, I'm going to do another plus. I'm going to do a software instrument here. Empty channel strip, hit create. And then I'm going to look over here and see a drum kit. This is one, there's a lot of different ways you can do drums in Logic. This is one of them. I just go to drum kit. I click on drum kit. One thing I recommend that Logic just added is that scroll all the way down to the bottom where it says producer kits. Click on producer kit and tomorrow, whoever talks to you about mixing, this will make, if you're using this producer kits, which is all the same kits, but they have a little plus there, you have a drop down, then you can see all the different drums, overheads, kick out, kick. These are just kind of what I was talking about when we were talking earlier about recording acoustic drums. You have your overhead drums that are picking up all of the cymbals, kick in or kick out. That's where the mic is being, is where the mic is. So the mic might be inside the drum kit, the drum kick, or on the outside of the kick. Snare top, snare bottom. Again, it's like where the mics are. Hi-hat, tom high. We talked about the different pitches, tom mid, tom low. These are room mics. This is a pretty extensive kit here. Okay, so can everyone load a drum kit, a plus a producer kit? So I just want you to, again, create a software instrument. So you go here, you do a plus, empty channel strip, create. And then go to drum kit or electronic drum kit. I don't know if the electronic drum kits, wait a second. Kit pieces. I would just do, let's do drum kit for now, but I want you to do producer kit. So scroll down to producer kit. All you have to do is click on it and it automatically loads whatever track that you have. Is everybody with me so far? I'm going to close my library so I have more space to see. And then what I'm going to do is right click in this main space. So right click again is control click. You'll have an option to create a MIDI region or a pattern region. This is what I was talking about, that one of the things that Logic kind of took from the other DAWs that I think are really important. It's really important to have access to this. So if I click this pattern region, it drops, it opens the sequencer. And I can make it bigger or smaller so I can see all of it. Everyone with me? Check the chat. Yes. Trying to download a drum kit. There's no options for drums at all too, so not that you don't have, oh, Molly, you have a question.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the last part? Okay, so I know how to do the drum kit and all that stuff. And the dropping all the components, but the spot that you're in.
Yeah, how do you get there?
Yeah.
So we have the kit here, and then all I'm doing is I'm clicking on this main space here, which is called the workspace. And I'm doing control click, which is pretty much in any DAW you're working in, if you right click or control click on your mouse, it's going to bring you a bunch of options. So instead of creating a MIDI region, you're going to create a pattern region. So you want to click on pattern region. And just wait. I want to make sure everyone can get here with me because this is a pretty awesome way to create drums, a drum beat.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I did the command and then the right click. And I don't see the pattern.
Wait, what command? You don't need to do any command.
Okay, so it's just right click.
Yeah. So if I were to do, I'm just in the space over here in the workspace. And I just,
okay.
You do it in any track.
Okay, got it.
Right.
Got it. Thank you.
Sure, yeah. Okay, so the drum kit, good question. So I'm going to add a software instrument. In the library, it just should be in the main library, drum kit. And then you can pick, and then you want to scroll down to producer kits. I just want you to get in the habit of being able to have the option to change where in the room when you're panning and mixing the drums, that to change where they are. And the producer kit allows you to do that. But it's got all the same sounds as the regular kit. It's just better. So I'm going to keep going and just keep asking questions if you have them. So when we were looking over here at this groove library, when my computer decided to crash, this is like a note division. For those of you who have taken music, you're counting 1 and 2. If you do 1, 2, 3, 4, if we're just listening here to the click, Go slower even. Two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can look and see where 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, stop. Oh, because I need to do this. 2, 3. So it's telling me this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. All of the other beats in between are divisions, right? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 is the these are your quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can have eighth notes, which would be every one. You could have 16th notes. So, like I said, when we were here in this just basic backbeat, the kick is going to be on the 1, and the 3. The snare here is going to be on the 2 and the 4. And then these note divisions, 16th notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and that's not here, but the closed hi-hat is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and on the 8th notes. So I'm literally just clicking on the step sequencer to tell where I want to go. Here's the side stick. I mentioned rim, things like that, center. This is where you're hitting the snare. So I'm going to do snare center. You'll hear the difference right here. Let's see. Oh, sorry. So this is the 1 and the 3. And then the snare, it's either side stick or do I want center sound? I want the center. So now I have the kick on the 1 and the 3 and the snare on the 2 and the 4. And then I'm going to look for my hi-hat. So I have to make this a little bigger. There's no hi-hat. Oh, here it is, closed. So I'm going to put the closed hi-hat here. 1 on all the 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3. Sorry. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right. So now I'm going to play that. So I have a loop going here. Sounds familiar, right? Every rock song ever written. And 90% of the other American songs you'll hear is that beat. So we can have more fun with it. In the step sequencer. So it's important to maybe we'll do this. So you guys, before I get too deep into beat making, what I would like you to do just to practice, and you can put your beats in your folder here too in the Google Drive, is check out some of these beats that are here that goes with the genre. Pick one that you like and then draw it in. So this is called programming drums. Just draw it in. Pick a kit and then draw it in your step sequencer. So I'll write the directions again. So I'm gonna in the group chat. So you want to pick because everyone has access to this PDF. So pick a genre that you want to write in or that you write in. From the PDF. Sure, I'm going to resend it right now. Good idea. Wait. How do I share this? Did I just do this?
Hala, it's in your WhatsApp too. If it's easier to access the WhatsApp.
And if not, I don't know why I'm having trouble. Oh. Oh no. Okay. Copy. All right, here we go. So I'm going to post it again. Does that make sense? I put it in the directions of what we're doing for the next 15 minutes in the drum. I'm sorry, in the drums, in the chat. If not, you know what I'll do? I'll also create a.
Sorry, I have a question.
Sure.
So the library is taking forever to load. So is there a way I can choose from the producer's kit just one in order to save time and use it? Because when I click.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Do that. I think that's easier. And we'll just say like 2 bars, 1 to 2 bars is fine. Oh, wait. One bar. They're all 1 bar. Great.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, I have a question. What's the difference between a hi-hat and the closed hi-hat?
Okay, so the open hi-hat is going to ring out longer. And you'll hear it when you're starting to listen to music. You'll hear the difference between something that's really tight sounding with no ringing out. That's the closed hi-hat. So when we were here, yeah, you can hear it versus that's closed. And that's open. That's open.
Okay.
Closed. Yeah, so that literally the 2 cymbals are closed. And then it creates a very tight sound.
I also have
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Sure.
Nice question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is the ride? Like, what's the equivalent of that?
So the ride is like, you'll hear, I think that's a ride. Yeah,
and it
depends where you hit it.
Like, if we don't have that wording in our producer kits, what would be the potential equivalent? I just don't know.
Which kit are you in? Are you using?
I'll tell you that it is 8-bit plus.
I don't see any. Oh, here's a hi-hat. I don't know where we are.
Because I think
I think the closest, the only symbol here is the hi-hat.
Okay, so I guess it depends on each producer kit, because in the reference I have the ride and the hi-hats like have their separate lines, and I guess it's just like some producer kits have different components. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's correct. Exactly.
Okay, thank you
So
very
there's different
much.
kits, and I'm going to show you how to create your own kit.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Rita, there's some folks in the chat that have some great answers about the ride. And Gina, you can bounce it. Yeah, as soon as you get the beat that you want, just bounce it and put it in the folder, the Google Drive folder that Hannah shared.
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, what effects are usually used on the drums, like the kick and the snare, and do I add them on the whole group, like the kit, or each sound on its own?
If you want to add, it's totally up to you. Like kick, there's usually like compression and saturation and things like that. I would only put that on the kick itself. But if you look here in this so when you're using producer kits or when you're using any of these kits, think of them as like presets for those other instruments that you all were manipulating. So if you, when I click on this kick in, you can see, or 8-bit, you can see in the inspector again, or the mixer, all of the effects that are already on there. So you could go in, if you don't like the sound of the kick, or this one 8-bit, you have to make sure you're looking at the right thing, is on the entire kit. So if you want to add something to the kick, it looks like there's nothing. I'm just kind of clicking through this and I don't see anything, any effects on my, let me see if I can find where we are. I was looking for this actual kick sound. Is it? There's another way to try it. Let's see. Oh, here. There we go. So if I didn't like that sound for some reason, I could add an effect to it here. And like I said, compressor. You just have to know how to use you have to know how to use them. You don't want to just like throw something on if you don't know how to use it. From the saturator. Yeah, saturation is not in Logic. There's not like a saturation plugin. Okay, I was on mute. Let's see what's happening here. A drum break. So, Yasmin, okay, Tusa and Nada are hacking the system. Love it. So just check their chat if you're having issues. Yasmin, creating a drum break. So like this that I just created is 4 bars. So you would just keep on, you could duplicate this and then you can go in your kit and create a break or a different rhythm. So it just is a matter of like where you want to put it. Oh, and Rita, awesome. Rita, I love it. Get there. Class drummer. You can, right. But you wouldn't want to do like, so you don't want to create the break in your one loop. Like if you're just looping one bar, you don't want to have a break, if that makes sense. So you have to create another pattern. So play around for about 5 more minutes, and then just upload your beat in the
Amira, what we did was we found one kit that was downloaded, not from the producer's kit. And then we right-clicked, we created a drummer track, and then we right-clicked. No, when we found the drummer track, we found those little knobs. I don't know what they're called. I'm not going to act educated. I clicked on it, and then we right-clicked and created a drummer track. And then we got a bunch of keyboard notes and all the different types of sounds. And then we right-click and we press create note. I'll take a picture and set it on the WhatsApp group. I hope that helped.
wow. Y'all are gonna have this figured out pretty fast. There's always some workaround, and if you're figuring stuff out this quick, you're gonna be fine.
Nada.
Yes.
I followed the steps, but I can't find the create. Wait, the create thing. Oh, the create a note thing.
Right click on the piano roll on the beats اللي بره ال actual notes.
Ah.
You good? Not
يعني
yet?
I clicked on the track itself. بس I have. It's called create.
Note. Do you want to send me a screenshot of your screen?
Yeah, thank you.
We'll create a video tutorial for you. Be right back.
I think you should do a YouTube channel.
No,
with
never.
With
I have no idea. We're not that. We're so fluid. We sound like our drums are on acid. It's crazy. We know nothing.
MJ, did you have a question? I saw real quick a hand up.
So I wanted to make a fill drum in the middle to transition from section to section, but the drum beat I made is keep looping. So whenever I make a drum fill, it keeps looping with the drum beat. You know what I'm saying?
I think I know what you're talking about. So you just want to have that one measure, right? Like a one measure fill or a
Yes. Yeah.
something like that's probably. So you want to change the length of your actual region. These are called regions. So you want to change the length of your region. You could do that in a couple ways. 16 steps. That's going to give me each beat 4 steps in it. So 4 times 4 is 16. If I do 12 steps, let's see, what does that give me? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, the way I do it is I just shorten the actual region so it doesn't keep looping. So
okay, for the drum fill doesn't keep looping.
Correct. Like, can you change the Abby, can you change the length just by dragging like that?
Every time I try to do that, it gives me a message that says loop off, and I'm to like shorten, and it doesn't want to be
click
short.
on drum kit. Whenever I make, and then you click on whatever you have added. Okay. And then when
wait,
you
there's
go there,
something.
you're supposed to click
Wait,
on that little icon.
Right.
Okay.
Like a one measure fill or
so you can do
There's like multiple people talking.
I think there's a few people talking. So if you're not talking to engineer, you mute.
right click اللي هو control and click and then في create note.
Okay. All right. So it's telling you that your loop is off. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes. Like I can stretch and loop it off, but I can't shorten. Yes. I can do that, but I can't shorten the length of the track.
The track. So this is the track.
Yes.
So okay, I think I'm having a hard time. I would love to be able to hear. Okay, so make sure that everyone else is muted. I think Martina, maybe with yours. You might be.
My bad. Sorry. The sequencer is not making me focus. My bad.
And Jay, I think I'd have to see what you're talking about. What I would suggest doing is making sure. So are you doing 16 steps like this?
Okay, wait a minute. Let me check.
Is what you could also
I'm
do.
actually doing. I'm actually
What-
doing 24 steps, but now I changed it to 16 steps.
It changed it to
Still the
16.
same thing.
What you could do also is if you changed it to 32, oh no, that's the same length. Change it to 16. Is it cutting off any of the programming that you did?
When I change it to 16, no.
Okay.
It still sound the same. Yeah, nothing changed.
So that should be one bar. Can you put the loop, your fill in one bar? Like if you were to do.
Okay, so I should create like a new like MIDI or and do the drum fill in it.
A new, yes, exactly. So you would do a new MIDI region. So you, again, you would right click here. I'm sorry, not a region, a pattern region. I'm
actually working with a pattern region.
Okay, you are, yeah. So, and let me show everybody now, actually, if we're having a drum party over here. Let's move on to the, because I want to show you a few other ways to make beats and then have you all continue to experiment. So just real quick though, just to wrap that portion up, is there anything that how the process was for you creating like choosing a genre and then being able to put it in the step sequencer? How was that for folks, especially folks we haven't heard from yet? It was good. I got a thumbs up from Molly. I'm trying to kind of see everybody at the same time. Was there any? Got some thumbs up. Any thoughts from folks about how it was? Was it hard figuring out like the note divisions and things like that? It's pretty easy. Pretty fun. Then let me show you a few, if there's no comments, let me show you a few other ways to create. I'm just kind of scrolling through the, Rita.
Hi, I'm Rona. I'm just withdrawing right now.
Okay.
I wanted to ask something. I did, from the sheet, I did the bossa nova template, but it doesn't sound like it at all. It sounds weird. I don't know if I did it wrong or if it's just not right on the sheet.
It might not be right. I take no credit for the sheet. I don't know where
It's okay. It's just a fun cheat sheet.
it came from. Yeah, I don't even see bossa nova.
I can wait. I can show it to you.
Yeah. Or do you want to play? Can you share your sound
sure.
and play? Wait, let me see. I don't even see it. Oh, Latin. Okay,
Yeah,
bossa.
the bossa nova.
Okay.
Okay, wait.
So do you want to, can you share, if I stop sharing, can you share your sound and
Oh,
share?
I'm not on the MacBook for Zoom.
Oh, I see.
So I'll
Maybe just make it real loud. Yeah. So we can hear it.
Okay.
I can't hear it at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think you have to turn off or turn on musician sound or something. Sorry, my face is all.
I have no idea.
Did you upload it to the, did you bounce it?
I will after class.
Okay. Yeah, part of the reason is because using this step sequencer, there's no groove to it. It's just like bap, 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 bap. So bossa nova is all about the groove, you know. This is very straight. So there are ways to get around that in Logic. There's actually a groove. There's a few different things. I don't want to get too deep into that, but there are ways to make it sound like. So I think what's helpful for that sheet, again, I'm not sure where it came from about the different rhythms, it's that it's telling you which note division, like 16th or that everything is.
I made sure it was correct, I think.
Yeah, it's not going to give you the groove. It's going to give you where it's placed. That's kind of the next level. I think it just is really is getting the groove going, and I don't, again, Ableton has a groove track that you can do. There is a groove, something, I think it's called groove. Is
it the velocity thing?
Velocity changes the velocity is great to get a human feel. Let me go, it's not groove. Groove is different. Groove track is something, I don't think it's that great. It is something that you can do in Logic.
I'll Google what that is in general. It's okay.
Yeah. I think I even have a video on how to do it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Very fishy. You want to see how you do it?
Show you. Let me see if I can show you.
Yes. Wait. Oh, and you go fishing.
Here it is.
What is this? Is this a fish?
So real quick, was it Rana who was talking? If you right click, and I'm not going to have time to go through this whole thing, but if you right click on the track header, it brings you down to track header. It brings this drop down list, and it brings down to track header components. When you go over, you can select groove track. And what that does is that it brings up these stars, kind of hidden stars. If you move your mouse over the track numbers, it brings these stars. So I could deselect. I just clicked on it so I can see. I can select what is the groove that everybody else is going to follow. So basically, you set up a groove, probably not in this pattern region because it's going to be really straight. In one of a track, maybe you have a bass line that you're playing and it's got the bossa nova feel, and you star that, and the other tracks supposedly will lock into that groove. So I know that's why I'm not really going over it into like your second day on Logic. I don't think I don't think it's that great. It's like at that point I'm like, it's great to get some live players.
Yeah. But it's interesting.
It is. It's interesting. So
I'll try it on my own time. Thank you.
Yeah, try it. Yeah, and maybe look it up on YouTube and
okay.
Tips. Tasa Nava? Nada, sorry. Tisa Nada.
Yeah. You said something earlier about velocity making things more human, and I just wanted to ask how that happens or why.
Yeah, so velocity is great to understand for drumming, because if you have a hi-hat, if a human is playing a hi-hat, they're not going to play it exactly the same tempo, or hit the hi-hat exactly the same strength every time. So it's like volume, exactly the same every time. So if you can adjust the volume or the velocity of the way it's hit, it's going to feel more human. So let me show you another way that would give an example actually of how to create drums that you can mess with the velocity a little bit easier. And then we'll go back to pattern region. So if I'm going to close this sequencer. I'm going to set up another, drum kit. Let's try producer kits, Detroit. All right. And then if I right click, control click, and create a pattern region. Now here's just an empty region here. And if I put something, I could, like you would in a sequencer, I could draw in here. I just have to, well, the easiest way to do it would be to change this tool, because right now the tool is a pointer, or I can use my command click tool. So I'm just going to change this tool. I'm clicking on the tool and create a pencil, and I can draw in the drums. I don't think this is that, but that's one way you could do it. Or I could record my drums. So let's see, what am I listening to now? So this is, all right. So if you noticed when I clicked on it, when I drew it in, it all is the same color. In Logic, the velocity is shown by color. So it's kind of hard because my little circle is covering over it. But if you hover your mouse over the pitch, did everyone get to hear? Does everyone know? Repeat how you get the empty space. Okay, thank you. So I have a drum kit. You can do it in the same one here. I'm just creating a new kit. And I'm going to right click in the space, just like I did to create a pattern region. And instead, I'm going to create a MIDI region. And there's the empty space. So at this point, with this empty space, I can either type in, like program in those drums like that. And I just did that by changing what the pointer is doing. I'm sorry, the mouse is doing. So I have a pointer tool. I changed it to pencil tool. And I can go in my side stick. Just kind of randomly putting stuff in right now. All right, so there's my cool kit, but everything's the same color. So so that means that everything is played exactly the same strength. So with exactly the same velocity. So here's the velocity here. So if I select everything, which is just Command A, or I can select the kit there, it selects everything in that row. I can change the velocity over here. And as you can see, when I'm changing it, it's changing the color of all the notes, all the pitches that are selected. Now it's a little bit different color, or I can select a note, just click on the note and change the color of that. Usually the first note, maybe I want it a little bit, I can go here, change the velocity, maybe just, you'll see it's a lighter color, lighter purple. Maybe on the 3, I want it to be hit really strong. This is gonna sound crazy. Let's see what it sounds like. It's a little more human because nobody hits the drum exactly the same with the same strength every single time, the same exact volume every single time. Let's see. Oh, I was going to tell you about recording something in. The only thing is I'm not really entirely sure. Oh, here it is. Telling me what it is. Okay, here's my hi-hat. Oh, I can barely hear it. Can everybody hear what I'm doing? Yeah. Okay, so you can't really hear what I'm doing, but I'm gonna pretend I do. I can hear what I'm doing. And I'm gonna try to record my hi-hat into here. Let me practice. Wait a second. I can do it. Any other thoughts? Kind of embarrassing because I can't really hear very well, and there's a serious latency, so it's like very slow. But this is how you fix it. If you can't play, it's okay. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna try to record. So hit the R. Okay, me and my awesome playing. Oh, all right, that shouldn't have recorded over. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna write these in again. Just gonna copy these over. That's a different setting. Again, I'm not super, take a long time to get into it right now. Kick. So you can, speaking of manipulating MIDI, I can just take any notes, I can draw them in, I can drag them around like I would. So now I have, so I'm just gonna delete this because the way I recorded it was not correct. All right, drag these over. Very human because it's totally not quantized. So quantizing is another thing that you want to play with to make things more human. So right now I just recorded this in, I was completely out of time. If I want to make these hi-hats completely in time, I can select them and I can just hit the Q for quantize. So I'm over here, quantizing puts everything right on the grid. There it is. And you can see it shift in. Maybe I don't want it to be that close, that exact. So I'm going to undo. This is my original. I'm going to change the strength here. So instead of 100, which is what a robot can do, I'm going to change it to 77. So that's a little bit off, a little bit. I also forgot to play the couple notes at the beginning. So I'm just going to copy and paste or option drag. And as you can see, these are all pretty much the same color, which is interesting, but they're not. So I can select here, velocity, maybe I'll change it a little bit more, all of them. A quick trick, this one's really fun. You just select all the notes. I'm just hitting the key here. I select all the notes. You go to functions, and then you go to quantize notes, blah, 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 MIDI transform. And then you can randomize the velocity. So you're changing it so it just sounds a little bit more human. Clicking on that, it's going to, oh, it brought to the wrong screen. It brings up this funny looking thing. You don't really have to, again, get too deep into it. I'm going to click on select and operate. And then you can see everything change different colors. So let's see what that sounds like now. That's kind of cool. Kind of happy with that, actually. Okay, so that's making a beat in just checking out the questions. Yeah, keep putting questions in the chat if you have them, because I'm not completely looking at the camera or everybody's camera. So Rita says, and this is the part where we get to make a loop using that space. So all I did was I right clicked, and instead of creating a pattern region, I created a MIDI region. So when you're saying that space, you're talking about the MIDI region. Maybe I answered that already. Sorry if you had said that or asked that earlier. Okay. So that's using a MIDI region. And again, you can program it in using the pencil tool, or you can record it in using your MIDI controller. One other way that I'm going to show exists in Logic, but it's really kind of my least favorite way to make drums is, oh, I see, Rita, how to record. I record enabled the track, and then I hit up here. I hit this record button up here. If you can't hear the sound, you have to find what octave that the sound is in. Okay, so my kind of least favorite way to make drums, but just if you want to play around with it's cool. I'm going to show you my favorite way after this. My least favorite way is using drummer. So that would be going to the plus. This is called the Logic drummer. So I'm going to the plus up here, and I hit drummer. I can pick a genre. I'm going to pick electronic. No, hip hop. Okay. I'm going to hit create. And then it brings up Des. There's like, when Logic first came out, or like 10 years ago when I was using Logic, and there was these different drummers, there wasn't other ways really to make drums. I was like, oh my gosh, where's Maurice? What's Maurice up to today? I was like, hang the computer. Anyway, so this is, so here's drummer, here's Maurice. So here's the thing. you can change. So I created a drummer track. I can listen. I can play around. I mean, that's pretty cool. It's fine. It's not my favorite. Like I said, I'm going to show you how to do it because, I feel like you should know. But to be perfectly honest, my students at Berklee, I don't let them use drummer because I think one of the issues is that you can't, when you hear a track that uses drummer, you're like, oh, that's drummer from Logic. It doesn't sound unique to me. So anyway, going off script here a little bit, Hannah, because it says that we're supposed to teach you how to use drummer. But anyway, so if I move this chaos pad around, change it kind of what's happening. So now it's more complex, so they're playing more notes. Wow, that's a fill. Let's see what else. You can change, like, you can add percussion, you can add fills. So way behind. They have different patterns for the kick there. You can add claps. That's kind of cool. I have to get into this. I think the thing. I think with drummer, I say use drummer for coming up with ideas. If you're writing a song, got people jamming already, jamming to Maurice. What's up? You can, maybe you got some lyrics that you want to work on and you're trying to figure out the melody and the rhythm and you want to find a different rhythm. Sure, play around with drummer. I just wouldn't use it for like a final production. Some people do. I think I maybe used it and then like took it apart for a production once, but I don't really remember. So I'm going to show you, I'm throwing a lot of information at you. I want to show you one more thing for people who have already used a lot of these drumming tools, which is Drum Machine Designer. So if you want to just work on your beat right now, so like just keep working on a beat, that's cool. For those of you who want to just listen for the next 5 minutes, I'm just going to show you how you can create a sound, like your own, like record a sound on your phone and bring it in and create your own drum kit with found sounds. Is that cool to do? Does anyone need a break or refresher or have questions? Everybody still with me, still following? Okay. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead to Drum Machine Designer, and then I promise I'll give you some time to work on your beat. So all right, close the library. Okay. I am creating a new software instrument. Going over here, software instrument, empty channel strip, opening the library. Actually, I'm going to do it. So definitely do this with me so you can get it if you're interested in this part of things. I'm actually closed the library and I'm going to where it says instrument. If I hover my mouse over where it says instrument, it says click to insert software instrument plugin. Then click on that. This is like the one confusing step, which is why I'm going to try to go really slow. And where it says no plugin, you're going to scroll all the way down to the drop-down menu, and everybody should have Drum Machine Designer. If you click on Drum Machine Designer, what should pop up, popped up on my other screen, is this, which is an empty kit. It's a drum pad. That's empty kit. Now I can take all the drums I have, all the different drum pieces I have, like kit pieces that I have. I might have them from Splice. I might have them from other third parties. I might have them from Logic. And I can put them in this kit and create a kit and do the same thing, pattern region, MIDI region, whatever, draw it in, record it in, whatever. As soon as I hit on the lower, again, yeah, got you. Close this. Delete this. So I'm creating a new software instrument. And where it says instrument in the inspector or in the mixer, I'm going to click on instrument. It says, if you hover your mouse over, it should pop up, click to insert software instrument plugin. I'm scrolling all the way down to the drop-down menu and doing Drum Machine Designer. I'm gonna do it one more time, and then just if you need me to do it again, I will. But I just want to do it one more time. So software instrument, Sol Plus. Going to instrument in the inspector. And scrolling down to where almost the bottom where it says Drum Machine Designer. And the empty kit is going to pop up. And here where it used to say instrument, it says DMD, Drum Machine Designer. What's cool about this in Logic is that the lower left pad instrument, it's always a kick. And it's going to open up your library in Logic to all of your kicks, all of the kicks that are there. If you don't have that many instruments there, then it's going to, if you have one kit, there's only going to be a couple of things to choose from. If I select this one, it's going to do the rim. Remember the rim shot or the rim on the snare. Here's the snare. It's going to show me all the snares, clap, jumps to the clap. So all I have to do is select one of the kicks. So I go in here and I can just sample them. I'm just clicking down the arrow on my computer keypad. All right, and I do that for the next 4 hours until I a kick that I like. And then I'm going to go to rim. Ooh, I like the crate digger. Start to get to know just like I used to get to know the drummers, Maurice and everybody, but now I get to know the kit. So let's see, snare. I want a snare just on that. There's a rim shot. Brooklyn feels, doing it pretty fast. I would be much pickier about this if I wasn't demonstrating. Oh, I like cream soda. Where did that go? Here it is. Yeah. All right. So I've got my own kit that's starting up here. And I can look over here and do drop down just like I would with the producer kits, and all of my drums are there. I can, oops, it's hard to see this here. I can right click again and I can create a pattern region or a MIDI region, the space, I can draw it in. So but now it's my, right? It's the sounds that I like. So that's cool. So I have my own kit here, and I decide that I want to have use a found sound. So what I'm going to do, this is like kind of the easiest way to do it. Wait, I don't see myself. I want to make sure you guys. Oh, Molly, you have a question.
Yeah. So I understood everything that you did, and I did everything. But when I came and selected, like, for example, a kick or anything, it doesn't, like, there's nothing.
The library is not showing up?
Yeah.
Were you also having trouble? Were you also having trouble finding kits Like, were there no kits downloaded?
I have like the part of the Logic, I have all the library downloaded.
Oh,
Like
you
the ones,
do?
yeah. But with my screen, it won't. Like, for example, in the kick, when I press on it, there is nothing. And then there's this message on the bottom that says, drag an audio sample to the pad, choose a kit piece patch in the library, or insert an instrument plugin on a
Yeah.
tracks channel.
Okay, so what is your library open?
Yeah.
So
it's open, but there's nothing there.
And there's nothing in the library?
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's like, okay. So you know where your mouse is? Your cursor is like right on an inst, and then there it says 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I press on that, there's nothing. Nothing pops up. Nothing changes. Nothing.
Nothing. The library doesn't open.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is like another situation I'd have to like see your screen because I'm not sure why. Like, do you have anything, if you have something up in the search, if you have like, oh no, you would still have stuff. I'm not totally sure. Okay. Oh, Rita has an answer. Check the chat while I talk. Raman Kimmy, you have a question. Yeah, sorry about that, Molly. I'm not really,
No, it's fine. Thank
not
you.
sure what's going on with your logic. Raman Kimmy, did you have a question?
I do, yeah. So once we do that and we give this new empty drum kit a name, how do we save it in the back end for like future use?
Great question. So you want to click on where it says empty kit at the top, and then go down to the library at the very bottom right of the library. It's going to say save. Click on save. Call it whatever you'd like to call it. It's going to save as an instrument, and it's going to be a user patch. So when you go to find it again, it'll be in your user patches.
And then that's great. And if we wanted to delete that, then how would we do that after?
I think you have to go into your folder too. I don't think I don't think, like, if I were to click delete, I'm kind of scared to do that. I think it would, let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's, oh, here we go. Delete.
Click on it.
Do you see it? So next to, so you select the kit and then you hit, then delete will show up.
I don't have the delete option, but it's better than not having the same option, I guess.
That's true. You'd have to probably go into your folder, your file, your finder where it is and delete it that way. That's weird. It won't, does it have delete and it's just not showing, like you can't click on it, or it just doesn't have delete there?
I just don't have the option for some reason, but again, like that's totally fine. Thank you.
I think part of the issue might be that you guys have a different version, like the free version for the trial version, or you don't have the most updated version. I know I'm behind one version.
I found it. Sorry.
Oh,
it was
where
in
was
the
it?
You see the 3 like dots on the left.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know why also that might have not been showing up? You can go like this.
Right.
To make it
yes.
wider. So if I go like this, it's not going to have really narrow. It's not going to have those options. I should have thought of that. Yeah, no. And then whatever you can't find is going to be under the 3 dots. Nice. Teamwork. All right. Okay. So I just want to show you one more trick. So you can make unique sounds. So if I wanted to find, I'm going to go to my voice memos, if you, any kind of phone or anything, or you could do it in here, but I just think it's fun. Like if you're out and about and you want to record a train or something else. I'm just going to find something here to tap on. It doesn't even have to be like, oh, here we go, some rappers. Okay, so I'm going to record a sound. It's not a great sound. Okay. All right, there we go. I call it rapper. All right. Oops. Okay, so I just recorded something in my voice memo. I'm going to share it with my computer. And Tusa and Nada, I see I have another question.
It's not really a question, or just sharing a happy moment. So we changed the octaves of some of the sounds, the percussion sounds, and it made something completely different, and it's just super interesting. So we thought we would share.
I love that. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So I am dragging in my rapper sound to this kit. There it is. There's my rapper sound. So this is a sampler. This is like some of the coolest, so much fun and in Logic and everything, kind of every DAW, but it's a sampler. So I can just press play to listen to that rapper. That's nice. Go back. But it's here in my kit. So like if I close this again, I'm gonna close my library. And there it is, the wrapper. So it's there, it's in there. But I want to change, like we were talking about at the very beginning of this, I want to change the length of this. I want to change the sound. So I can go in here and just mess with, I'm looking for kind of the biggest transients. Let's see. That's cool. I can go, I'm in one shot right now. I can go playback, I can hit reverse. That's cool. Maybe I'll do that. Forward. All right, I can go into the detail. So I'm in Q sampler or quick sampler main. I can go to quick sampler detail. And here we go. These are all these knobs and everything, the ADSR and stuff that I don't know if ADSR is here, but you can mess with the actual sound of it. So let's play. So I'm just kind of changing the drive. Resonance, ooh. I can pan it to the left or the right. I can change the pitch, just a fine pitch, which is not that, 50 cents is a semitone. Cool. All right, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. Is it good? Cool. Okay, so I say I find the exactly what I want. Okay. Sorry. That's fine. Okay. So I changed the sound. I'm going to go back to. Wait a second. One more thing. Add a little reverb to it. Yes. Okay. Here we go. Let's make a beat. So now I'm here in my kit. Oh, it's not there. Show up. And do it again. Right click, pattern region. Sometimes I just draw whatever I feel like, That's going to be the star of the show, the rapper. See what it sounds like. Okay. I know. Too much fun. There are some questions. Gina has a question.
I got lost when you added the wrapper into the thing.
Okay. Which part? So you got the
Like,
wrapper.
how do I add my own sample into the drum machine maker?
Yeah, so I record it into my phone. You could record into your computer. The reason why I did it with my phone is because like if I was out and about and I heard a sound that I thought was really cool, I would capture it on my phone. Then I just did an airdrop to my computer. You can email it to yourself or whatever, or you can drag something in from Splice. I'm going back to my drum machine here, and I just dragged and dropped the sound. So like I could pick another sound, like in my Finder, there was something, I had a kick on Splice I really liked. Not that one. So if I all I have to do is just drag it, whatever sound, and it's there. And then I can go in the sampler here. And right now it's doing this. But what if I wanted to do something backwards? Hear that a lot. Great. Reverse kick is such a great transition sound. It's just a great sound kind of to have. And that's all. And I'm just kind of playing around with, different the parameters, like the envelopes, to change the filter and things like that. Does that make sense? Did you?
Yes, that answers my question. Thank you.
Awesome.
But I do have another one.
Sure, yeah, no problem.
I'm so sorry. I also missed how you saved it.
Oh,
I'm,
right.
like trying to follow along with you, like in the.
I know, I'm talking a lot. So go up to where it says empty kit at the top and select that. Okay. You want to make sure that's what you're selecting, and then go to your library needs to be open. So I'm just hitting Y to open my library. And then I would hit, I've already saved this one, but maybe I want to save it again, or save over it. So I hit save and then name it. And if I'm updating a patch or my own kit, then it'll say something like this: it already exists and I want to remove it because now I have that cool rapper sound.
Okay.
So now I have, yeah, and that's it. So I highly, highly recommend creating your own drum kits to get your sound, like you start kind of creating your own style, your own signature sound. As I was using Drummer, where it's like everyone kind of knows that Drummer sound. It's good for ideas, but I think this is what really can help you create your sound. And I forget who was the drummer. Is it Rita? Is a drummer. This is the kind of stuff you can layer over your own acoustic drums if you're doing, or you can use it as kind of ear candy that's happening every once in a while. It's just really fun to play with. So I just want to review the different drums that we went over. So we did, I suggest a producer kit. You don't have to. I think producer kit is the easiest way. Once you get to mixing, everything is already separated. They already are panning things left and right, so it makes it sound more realistic and have a deeper sound. So I suggested producer kit. And then let's see. Oh, then we did a pattern region, which is just right click, create pattern region. And that opens up our step sequencer. Then we did a MIDI region, which is that empty space where you can draw or record in a little bit at a time to make it feel better. Or feel more real. We talked briefly about drummer. Maurice, I think, was our drummer of the day. And then we created our own kit using Drum Machine Designer. So I get super excited about drums, which is why I spent half the time on it. But I think it's a really important part of your sound, yes. And also it's the foundation of the song. So you want to lock in all of your other instruments to the drum kit. So knowing that we only have 14 minutes left and I didn't give you a chance to create something. Do you all want to try to create something in like 10 minutes and come back, or do you have questions? Do you just want to have a discussion? I don't know if Hannah has suggestions for what's the best thing to do, kind of the last 15 minutes.
I think we can do if you guys have questions, now's a good time to ask them. And if you don't have questions, you can, make beats and play around and have fun and apply what you guys just learned.
That's perfect. Yeah. So take 10 minutes to make a beat. And I'll be here if you have questions too.
I think
Awesome. Okay, Martina.
It's a technical one. I tried all the ways to see the sequencer, and I only got the piano roll without the green part in front of it. So
you got the piano roll. You got the piano roll, which means that you are creating a MIDI region, not a pattern region. So the MIDI region opens if you double click on it, it opens the piano roll. If you don't see the piano roll at all, you just double click on the region.
It's sorry, it's
okay.
My options are create the drum region, populate with drum regions, but I can't pinpoint where is the sequencer.
The only way to get a sequencer is to right click, and it's create pattern region. And that opens up the sequencer.
I don't think I have this option, so maybe because I'm using a different version, but I don't have the pattern region option.
So go up to Logic Pro on the upper left-hand side and select About Logic Pro.
Okay. It's version 10.4.8.
Okay. Do you know, so you can update to, I think it's 10.8 is the newest one. If you go to About This Mac, as long as you have Monterey or later, you can update your Logic version to make sure, but you should have pattern region in 10.4, I think. I can't remember when they added pattern region. So when you right click, what does it say in the space?
It create drummer region, populate with drummer regions, paste, replace, paste at original position, select all inside locators. It's all yeah,
it's not.
I think the update would be a good idea to actually implement everything we learned.
Yes.
Thank you.
Update, and then once you update, make sure you download all available sounds in your library.
Okay. And the essential ones,
because
right?
Just all available sounds will include essential sounds, but anytime you update your Logic, it's going to add more sounds, and you want those. It's all part of the package. It's all part of the doc.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Reverend Kimmy.
I have a question, and I'm just trying to link things because I'm pretty sure you already explained it. But if I wanted, if I wanted to like record something with like a note, and then use that as part of my drum kit, how would I go about that process? You know?
Got it. Like, so if you want to record your voice.
Yeah, like just like an accent.
Give me an example, an accent, like a hey kind of thing.
Exactly. Let's say that. Yeah.
Okay. So if you want it in your kit, you would do the same thing that I did. Like you would go, let's open the Drum Machine Designer. You could do a couple things actually. I don't know if it's going to let me do it. I'm just trying to figure out if I can do it on Zoom. I think so. Let me try. If I wanted to record, so you could do it in your interface, however you're recording. I'm going to do it like this. My input. Make sure there's no feedback. Oh, okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
It's not gonna let me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I'm just muting my speakers. And I'm going to, the only way I know how to do this with using this kit, Drum Machine Designer, is if I put in another sound, and then if I click on it, oops, it shows me recorder. So the only way there's got to be another way to do it. I got to figure this one out, but that's the only way I can get to the sampler where I can record something. So I can actually record directly into the drum kit. So I'm going to change the record start to start immediately. And then I'm going to say, let's see, hello, 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 hello. All right. So now I have this hello. Change the name. And I'm going to go to one shot, and now I can do everything. Oh, wait, I can't hear anything. All right, let's see. Oh, I can't hear it. I can't hear it because hello, 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 hello. Okay, it should be playing though. Anyway, I can even go in and slice this and like up. So you can like you would map it to your keys here. Well, that's kind of another step that I wouldn't be able to do in 5 minutes, but okay, and then I can just use this. See, hello, hello. One shot is you press play and it goes the whole thing. Classic is it's just however long you hold the play button. I'm gonna keep it on one shot. Again, I could go in here, should be able to change. I could go backwards. My favorite thing, I can change the key. So we were talking way hours ago about pitching stuff. Like that, root key. Oh, that's just telling me where to play it. Snap, retune. Not letting me. Okay. Anyway, you can have lots of fun.
I have a
here.
question.
Yes. Sorry, I'm totally not looking over that. I'm in my own world here. Wait, I can't hear. Are you talking, Sandra?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear. I can now. Yes.
Yeah. Can you please recap really quickly on how to add the sound to the MIDI pattern or the pattern track thing?
Yeah.
Like
So
very
here, wait, how to add a sound to pattern track? Do you mean the kit, the Drum Machine Designer? This?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All you have to do is you select pad, and then it should bring up your library of sounds, and you can add. All you do is select it, and that's it, and then it plays. So it should. Let's see. Should show up. Yeah, here they are. You have to create the pattern region afterwards. So. Does that make sense? So here's the one that I just added. See, with Drum Machine Designer, you really want to have all of your drums in there, all of your choices of instruments in there before you create the pattern. Because as you saw, like I can't, if I go to this other step sequencer, it's not the things that I added after I created this beat aren't here, the sounds that I had. So I have to create all of them. Then I have my kit. I mean, you always do it on another track, but. Does that make sense, Sandra? Does that answer your question? Awesome. Okay. I know we are coming to a close. Did anyone create a beat and drop it in the folder? Definitely bounce and drop in the folder. I
do a few. I can tell you guys are super creative.
This is awesome. I can't wait to hear what you all create from this program, from the sessions. It's gonna be awesome. I'm on Instagram if you want to ever like contact me, DM. I think that might be one of the easier ways. I'm not on, I don't post a lot. I'm kind of, but but I'm there. Demo.
Yes, I had a question. You told me to remind you about
Oh, yeah.
changing the pitch for the sample or for loop.
Right. So this, so was it in a drum sample like this?
No, let's just say it's a guitar riff or a piano or any sample.
Wait a second. So the pitch, so if you're bringing in something from something else, or if you're, let's see, give me an example.
Like a guitar riff for an R&B song, but I want it to be on my scale.
Okay, so the only way I know how to do that in Logic is through flex pitch, which I find changes the tone of the instrument as well. So if you were to have, I don't have a, oh, Apple Loop. So I think it tells you what key it's in here. So there's all these loops if you just, they're up here, if you guys ever want to use anything. So you're trying to change the pitch of this. The only way I know how to do it is through flex, which would be, let's see if we can find another way. Analyze audio for flex editing. I just don't like flex. That's why I'm being a little anti. I just don't like the way it sounds. But I think that's the only way I know how to do it in Lonely. So you would go to flex. This is this little flex thing here. Turn flex, turn on flex. And then you would do, instead of flex time, you would do flex pitch. You know, I still don't think this is the best way. Like this is where you would go and you would actually, you can pitch correct, or you can move the pitches around. So you select all, and then you can move the key that you want it in. Like I said, I don't think I have the best answer for that in Logic, unfortunately. Sorry. And I think at the beginning, I think I was thinking you were talking about a sampler, like a sample that you just put in sampler and then you just mess with the pitch there. So that might be a question for the University of YouTube. Or there's probably something on the Apple page, on the Logic page.
I usually like use loops or samples, and when I find like a good piano or guitar and I want to use it, but I'm on different scale. So when I do that, I just lose the quality and the tone, and doesn't sound right, you know?
I agree. I'm going to try to find, because I had another student ask me that actually recently, and I was like, I don't like, I don't really like the flex pitch, the quality of it at all. Yeah, there's definitely a better way.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so we are out of time. I had such a great time with you all. I know I get a little into my own world, so hope that you were able to follow along. And I know that you have some great instructors coming up for the next portion, so they might have some more ideas for how to make some beats and everything. Sandra, did you have another question?
Sandra? Or
Oh,
Naran?
maybe not. I think they just don't. Hannah, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, I just wanted to thank you so much, Valerie. This has been super insightful. I am a drummer, but I've never made a beat in Logic digitally. I definitely learned a lot. So I just wanted to thank everybody. It's also super cool to be able to see your beats that you're making and uploading to the drive. Valerie, I'd love to text you the link too, so you can listen to the results of your work. And
Definitely.
thank you guys, everyone. I did share the beat cheat sheet to your WhatsApps, also in the drive. I also shared Valerie's Instagram with you all. So if you want to follow her, please do. And then just a quick reminder for everyone in the room, it's a holiday week in the US this week. So we are off on Friday and Saturday. No courses on Friday and Saturday like we normally would. And we'll be back on Wednesday for Intro to Audio Effects with Swag, who Valerie also knows. So should be super exciting.
This is awesome.
And Valerie, do you have any, closing thoughts, anything else before we head out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm inspired by all of you. I know I only got to kind of interact directly with a few of you, but I'm just so inspired that there's such an incredible group of women that you guys are spending time and energy to learn how to produce your own music. That is the most empowering. That's the most power you're going to have as a musician, is be able to record and produce yourself. And you can work with other people too, and definitely work with each other. But just having that knowledge and being able to make great beats and great music yourself is so, it's inspiring to me to see you all learning to do it. So I'm going to go write a song with my nephew now.
Amazing.
So thank you all.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Valerie. And Valerie, also have a lovely Thanksgiving at your parents' house.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.